Hello, Goldwell. Hello, Make the Cut hiring team. My name is LJ, and this is my audition video. I hope you like it. It was definitely a great experience. My model here she's a brunette, and she's got some highlights in there, and it tends to, brunettes tend to fade to which is pretty when it's reflected with other color. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some panels of thicker dark lowlights with a micro weave of a different dimension and swirled together. Sort of a little bit of gray right in the front. So we don't want to have this black and white tone. So I'm going to do a tiny screen of a few highlights in order to make everything kind of blend together. So, all right, so I'm going to mix up the low light, the micro low light. I'm going to mix up Silk Lift lightener. This color is about an 8G. So within this toner, I'm going to do a micro weave. That way it'll be tone on tone. It'll be the same level, about an 8, but they'll be tone on tone. So even in the panels, there'll be a bit of dimension, and collectively, she'll be gorgeous. When I have a really big project, I'll use different colored foils so we know it's even. For the low light, I would use, say, the gray, and then for the medium low light, the microweave within the dark low light, I'd use the red. Over here, I have pink for the micro toning into the faded pieces, and then I have just plain foil color for the Silk Lift lightener. I'm separating the bang. Sometimes she'll wear her hair down and the bangs are out, so the highlights have to blend with the back, but they have to have their own section. I'm leaving out around the hairline. I'll do a fine weave in here to blend anything, but that way when she pulls her hair back, she's not going to see a hot line of dark or light. It'll be mostly her natural color in there. What I'm doing back here is I'm leaving out the whole bottom. So we don't really need to add anything. She's got a bit of pops of light from previous highlights. So those will poke out a little bit. We want to leave some of the gray in too, but we don't want it to show as gray. We want to see, is it gray or is it part of the highlight? So sort of when I go through and I feel like there's maybe a section where there's more gray, so that's when I'll go in, I'll do like a micro weave of maybe a little bit of blonde here and there. So you can't really tell. We have grays in the top. So I'm just going to take a tiny wisp so that those little grays at the root will kind of disperse into light strands. I sort of want to keep some of that gray, so I'm just going to kind of feather it in. And we're working with the color that's faded, and a little bit of a contrasting tone, but it's tone on tone, 8 on 8. Only one is on the warm coppery side and the other the violet. Sort of the old color, and there's a little bit of like toning that went in between. I want the depth of the 4 to really contrast with the warmth of the existing coppery tone, but I also want a depth of coppery tone in there. Every hair on our heads, they're all individual, they all have their own color, tone, and texture, and collectively they make a color. Microweaving within the panels, I feel it gives more of a light reflection. When you're formulating, you think, okay, here's what could happen, how do I avoid it, but if it does happen, how am I going to handle it? If you know where you're going, how you're going to get there, if there's a detour, you kind of have that planned out ahead too. You still get there on time. We have dark, light, and a couple of pops of lightener all throughout. A 5-minute gloss all over the whole thing, kind of blend the whole thing together. We have that combination of colors. Haircut we're going to do is we're just going to bring the length up. We're going to add some more layers. We're going to add a sweep bang, a full forehead sweep bang. for her. It's gonna be beautiful. I left out, you can see there's old highlights, there's some rusty bits back there. There's a pop of color back here that I broke up with some darker foils. This pop of color and this pop of color, there's a few bright ones in there that's gonna make all that make sense. We're gonna use the old color to contribute to the new color. So instead of having highlights and lowlights, she has highlights, lowlights, and medium lights. You do kind of big panels so that they sit on top of each other and show the contrast. Saturate all. Education and being surrounded by other stylists that are very talented inspires me to do better. And I really feel if you see something and you think, I can do that, and you see something else and think, wow, I wish I could do that. If you live in that space, then you really can excel and you can grow and do better. It's my hope to become an educator. I love Goldwell, I love Cow, I love the products, and most of all, I love education. Thank you for watching my Make the Cut video. It was a cool experience. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate the opportunity.